Welcome everyone to the Color of Jazz. I'm Donna Whittington. I am your hostess. It is so good to be back with you all. I have missed all of you. I have missed doing my show. I've had some big changes here, moved to Phoenix, and I think the other big changes, if you can't tell, I've cut my hair off. So lots of big changes going on. And of course, I'm on a new platform. So lots of new things. But what isn't new is the fun. The fun is still the same. The musicians are still the same, still incredible, still exciting to have them on here. And of course, tonight on the show, we have Daryl Walker. And Daryl, it is such a pleasure to have you on the show with us tonight. Hello, Daryl.
Good evening. How is everyone?
Thank you, Daryl. And so great to have you on here. Of course, we had you on with East Bay Soul back in December. So now we're here tonight, of course, to talk about your solo career.
Ah.
Yes. So tell us this. Why don't you bring us up to speed about Daryl F. Walker? So tell us about Daryl.
What exactly about Daryl would you like to know?
I want to know about your music career. How about that?
From the beginning?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
From the get-go.
Well, let's see. It's been one hell of a ride. It began as a marching band member in junior high school, and then on to high school. And then while I was in the military, I had my saxophone with me at the time. That was a while ago, back in the 80s. And then right after I got home, I went into aerospace and started working that and doing music on the side. And then I became what I considered to be a professional musician, meaning I was being paid and my services were being sought after. Then signed with Taboo Records with Motown Distribution, had a deal with them, which didn't materialize into much of anything except a bunch of headaches. But from that, I made some good connections and great friends, and as a result, continued to participate in the music world. And a number of years later, had the privilege of being invited by Greg Adams to join East Bay Soul as their lead vocalist and one of the five horns. It was at that point I decided, okay, in year number 4 of my affiliation with the band, actually year number 5, I decided that I was going to embark on a solo career. I was going to start modestly with the EP that I released in August with 5 songs, 2 covers and 3 originals, and just to see how that would be received, and it's wildly received. The people that I play it for, both in the radio world and in those that are just aficionados or fans or whatever you want to call it, they've all really enjoyed it. And I'm glad, because it was a Herculean effort. I got it done in 5 weeks. It didn't start out that way. I planned it better than that, but with everyone's schedule and setbacks here and there and 3 different studios and about 15 musicians or so, it wound up taking about 5 weeks to get done. And I thought, man, if I could do this in 5 weeks, what can I get done in a whole 6 months?
Right.
But the main thing is I just wanted to get something out there, because ever since my failed Motown album release with a band back then that was known as Identity Crisis, and the name of the project was the Spanish Afro. It was a great group of musicians that we put out Spanish and English R&B, and it was really nice, way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And they didn't know quite what to do with it. And my personal belief is, because they didn't know what to do with it, and because it was something that had already been completed with a prior distributor, which was A&M Records, the project was basically done. So when we went over to Motown, there was nothing for them to grab or take, so to speak. And because there was nothing that they could have, we had a really nice contract, unheard of actually as a first contract. They just didn't feel that it was necessary to work with the project, so they shelved it. and most of the band dissolved, but there were a couple of us that were doing music because we love it in the first place before we signed. So we remained in the business, and the other guys, they were disillusioned and disenchanted, and they wound up in other career areas. But that's pretty much a quick synopsis of it. And here we are today. I'm doing local performances in San Diego and LA County and in Orange County. I hope to extend my reach into the Southwest and the Midwest and the East Coast as things grow. But I'm taking a very measured approach to it because, quite frankly, with what it costs to do this, with the quality that I have done it, is very expensive. And all I can say is the next thing I have to do is raise money for airplay and advertising, because I spent about $20,000 doing this project, and that's just 5 songs.
Wow.
But when you listen to it, you hear the quality. We went to, we started at Kevin Flournoy, the keyboard player / producer, arranger. We started at his studio, and initially we were just going to cut rough tracks, vocal tracks, just to give some continuity to everything and kind of block it out and arrange it, so we knew where we were going, what we were doing. But as we recorded, we started to discover that, wow, we can keep all of this. It just worked out that everything we did was good, and we didn't have to go anywhere else, because the initial thing was to record there, rough tracks, move those to a bigger studio, get he and his second engineer involved, and then start working with it from there. But to quote him, he said, well, we don't need to do all that. He said, I don't know why, but I must have forgotten that you could sing. He said, there's not going to be a whole lot of cut and paste and re-sing and redo and process with the harmonizer and auto-tuner and all of that crap. He said, we're going to actually be making a real record. I said, that's what I intend to do.
Right on.
Yeah, it's a labor of love, but it is very expensive. Because, when you're independent, you take, as you well know, with starting your own show, you take on all the expense and risk.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm up to. In addition to that, I'm running my live band, and I'm still participating wildly on every level that I'm allowed in Greg Adams' East Bay Soul project. I'm doing that. We're about to embark on a summer tour. And then, of course, I'm also running, doing administrative and performance work with Hope Chile, which is a corporate band staffed by a bunch of industry people that are amazing musicians, that we basically go in and do Fortune 500 celebrity and private clients. We do their events, whether it's a private party or a corporate award ceremony where we do play on, play off, whether it's a 3-hour live entertainment provision thing that we do for some sort of themed party or just a regular party. It's basically one of those bands that they like to come after when they don't necessarily have the budget or the inclination to hire an A-list performer, and they want to get the same quality as that with a lower cost. That's when they call a band like Hope Chile.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then what kind of music are you playing for them? Are you playing more R&B, 80s? What do you play?
Everything.
Okay.
Usually they'll start out with a dinner set, and then I can do whatever I want there. And I do everything from Antonio Carlos Jobim to Miles Davis, whatever the flavor is at that moment. We tailor it for them so they get what they want.
Nice.
And then we move from that into dance music or whatever it is, whether it's R&B, pop, it's all customized.
Nice. That's
awesome. Okay. So I'm busy. Thank God I'm busy.
Yeah, you are. You're very busy, and you've got a lot of things going on. But you know what? And it's because your music is so incredible. I've been listening to it, and I just kind of have you on loop here. And
thank you.
You're welcome. I got to tell you, your CD, Hold Me, Great CD. I was thinking about the music, and I'm always thinking about when I listen to a CD from an artist, when they send their music in to me, I'm always focused on where does the music take me? What can I do with this music? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And am I going to be able to dance to it? Is it a nice, slow, romantic type CD? Is it background music? Do I just need to, am I driving to California with the music? What is it? So for me, your music, Hold Me, which is absolutely phenomenal, folks. I absolutely love it. The title track, I really like the title track. That's my favorite. I picked that one as my favorite one. But
Thank you.
the music is very it's classic, but it's very sensual because you have that silky, sexy, soulful voice. So there you have it, ladies. Silky, sexy. What did I say? Silky, sexy, soulful voice. Okay, y'all say that 3 times fast.
That's crazy.
Okay, y'all say that 3 times fast. Okay, so now I'm getting an echo. So I want to play. Okay, so now I'm gonna hold off on playing the title track. Now, Daryl, let me ask you. Are you on the website?
Yes.
Okay. Are you listening to the program? Are you on the website?
I am. There, I'm trying to find a way to mute that. Hold on a second. I am.
So as soon as you mute that.
Mute that. Hold on a second. I am. There.
Perfect. So now what we'll do is, because folks are wondering what I'm talking about, the whole silky, sexy, soulful voice. I'm going to put on, Hard Habit to Break. You know what? That's one of my favorite songs from back in the day. Tell me, why did you decide to do Hard Habit to Break?
Well, it's, here's a short story version. Hard Habit to Break is a song I always loved because it was a difficult song. The arrangement was difficult. When you listen to it, it's intricate. And I was always a big fan of Chicago because their music was always very technical, yet at the same time it had the current flavor going on, whatever was happening at that time. But it was also the kind of stuff that you would want to hear over and over again. You wouldn't get tired of it.
Yes.
But the lead vocalist at the time was Peter Cetera, and he's one of those guys that is unmatched in his ability to provide power, range, sensitivity, and just general style. And I thought, well, that'd be a good song for me to do because no one's recorded this song since he did, and it's something that a lot of people wouldn't want to try because it's not easy. It just had all the elements of something that I wanted to say at the moment. So I decided, well, I could do it as a duet, which it is on the original recording, but then I started thinking about people that I knew, and I didn't quite know anyone that could handle the second part. So I just recorded them both myself, and it turned out well, thank God. But it was just, I was feeling in that mode, and I figured, well, doing that song would express something I was feeling at the moment, at that time.
Well, you know what? You did a phenomenal job with it, and it is one of my favorites. I also love Chicago, and you did a fantastic job with this. So, folks, let's do this. Let's go ahead and put on Hard Habit to Break and listen to this, and you'll get what I'm saying about the silky, sexy, soulful. And I'm chatting in Facebook about Daryl, the silkiness of his voice. So please listen and enjoy this. And also, if you can multitask, if you can't, we understand. But if you can multitask, get into your Facebook while you're listening. Bring up another browser, guys, and chat with us. Or I should say, don't chat with us on Facebook, but tell your friends to come hang out with us and listen to Daryl F. Walker. Okay, here we go, folks. Hard habit to break. Daryl, this is a great time for you to be chatting with us as well. All right?
All right.
Enjoy, folks.
I guess I thought you'd be here forever. Another illusion I chose to create. You don't know what you got until it's gone. And I found out a little too late. I was acting as if you were lucky to have me, doing you a favor, harming you were, but then you were gone, and it all was wrong. Had no idea how much I care. Now being without you takes a lot of getting used to. Should learn to live with it, but I don't want to. Being without you, it's all a big mistake. Instead of getting it easier, it's the hardest thing to take. I'm addicted to you. You're a hard habit to break. Found someone else, you had every reason. You know I can't blame you for running to here. Two people together, but living alone. I was spreading my love too thin. After all of these years, I'm still trying to shake you. Doing much better. Saving it just takes time. Deep in the night, it's an endless fight. I can't get you out of my mind. Being without you takes a lot of getting used to. Should learn to live with it, but I don't want to. Being without you, it's all a big mistake. Instead of getting it easier, it's the hardest thing to take. I'm addicted to you. You're a hard habit to break. Being without you takes a lot of getting used to. Should learn to live with it, but I don't want to. Being without you, it's all a big mistake. Instead of getting it easier, it's the hardest thing to take. I'm addicted to you. Always such a habit to break. Such a hard, such a habit to break.
Okay. Very nice, very silky, very silky. Dare, were you listening to your song?
No, I can't.
All right. So, yeah, so I know folks out there in the chat listening to that, I know that you enjoyed that. It was, like I said, that's a favorite song of mine of Chicago's, but then Daryl puts a nice arrangement on that, and it's just a beautiful song. And Daryl, thank you for doing it justice as well. I'm one of those folks that when you cover a song, either you're gonna cover it well or you don't cover it at all. And you did an amazing job.
Thank you so much. That was the one we spent the most money on, by the way. You can hear all the intricate strings, and there's 2 guitar players, drummers, percussion, and Greg Adams did a horn arrangement for me on that. He and Lee Thornburg played the horn parts. There's flugelhorns, 2 flugelhorns, and I believe, Lee Thornburg also played valve trombone. So we stacked them and made them sound like a 6-piece horn section. And they just did a phenomenal job on that. I can't thank Greg enough. And he didn't even want to take any money for the session, but I forced him to.
Nice. He's a cool cat, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He is.
I'm having the time of my life with East Bay Soul and now with this solo endeavor. The 2 things together, it work hand in hand. And what I've done to show my appreciation to him for everything he's done and continues to do, is I linked my website to his website, and on my Facebook page, my banner, the picture is the band East Bay Soul, and then my picture is beneath that. And I always use those social media platforms to talk about what East Bay Soul is doing and what I'm doing collectively, so everyone knows what's going on. And it's one of those back scratching things, each thing complements the other. So if people want to see me with East Bay Soul, they know where to go, or if they want to see me on my own, they know where to go. And even on the website, I have video clips of both, and audio clips, and it's a great thing. And I'm in there as long as they'll have me, and they seem to really enjoy me being there. So
that's awesome. Well, you know what? You do a phenomenal job for East Bay Soul too. So, and I didn't pull up any music from East Bay Soul to play, but because this is all about you tonight and your solo career. But I will put a plug in there for East Bay Soul, the CD 2.0, awesome CD. And as Daryl was saying, Greg Adams, he's top notch. Former founder of Tower of Power. And you guys have that East Bay Soul has that sound, that Oakland, that Philly sound, that big band, not big band.
Oh, you could call it big. It's a big group, So
it is.
It could be called a big, not a big band in terms of a jazz band, but it's a big group. It's an ensemble of 10 members, 5 horns. Now, with regard to my thing, I go between 5 and 8 pieces depending on the budget. I'd like to have more people if I can. Just depends on where we're playing. But I'm going to be over at Spaghettini in Seal Beach on April 11th.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's going to be great. I have a guest vocalist by the name of Rebecca Jade, and she's a local San Diego person with an amazing voice. I'm going to have her helping me out with background. I'm going to feature her on 2 songs as well, because you can't have a singer of that caliber in the lineup and have them just singing background. And I mean, that's my feeling about it anyway. So I'm going to make sure she gets to sing a couple of the things that she really wants to do. And it just really, that's how I approach music, whether it's in the studio or live. I like to include people and take their input and feedback, because it just enhances the whole thing. If I go in with a myopic way of looking at things, or anyone for that matter goes into anything with a myopic view, you're not going to get the full potential of what it could be. You're just going to have one point of view. And that's not always appropriate, especially when you're trying to do something like make music.
Absolutely. Well, that's incredible and that's wonderful. So at Spaghettini's, April 11th, right?
Yes, it's sold out.
Oh, so I can't drive 5 hours to get there and make it?
You can. They have that patio area that has a great view of the stage that they don't charge for. Off to would be stage right or the left of the room, the back of the room. And there's usually spots at the bar area, but all of the ticketed seats are all sold with the exception of 2 tables in the corner by the window.
Okay, but the table by the kitchen and next to the bathroom, that one is still open.
No, what a huge blessing, though. I started talking about this on my Facebook page. I have an artist page, Darryl,
yes.
F as in Fitzgerald, Walker. Darryl F. Walker is my professional page. And then I have a personal page, Darryl Fitzgerald Walker. And I started talking about, as well as on the website, DarrylFWalker.com, started talking about Spaghettini back in March, the second week of March, or the first week. And right around, no, wait, it was a little bit before that, late February, I think. Well, anyhow, a month prior to the show, the room was almost sold out.
Wow.
So I can't ask for any bigger blessing than that. People want to be there, and I'm so thrilled that it doesn't take a whole lot of work. I've placed a few ads and spent some money on advertising, but the bottom line is once people heard about it, they responded, and
right on.
As an artist, that's all you can hope for, is that someone will want what you have to offer.
Absolutely. So do you think is Q gonna add another show, or I need to come to your next show at Spaghettini's?
You mean another performance?
Yeah.
This is my second time there, so I'm sure wherever it fits in, we'll do it. I just try to keep them spaced out at that venue so that it doesn't become diluted, and I try to change the show each time I go there. So this time, people are going to hear a few songs that were not included in the last show I did there. And I have a great lineup of people, very talented, amazing people. It's not even work. It's just expression and a soul connection with people and fun.
Yes, absolutely. Now, will you do a duet with Rebecca?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? If I can't make it to the patio, April 11th, to see you, then I'm going to be looking for the next show, of course, to see you. And, of course, East Bay Soul. What do you have coming up with East Bay Soul?
Our first show, I believe, is at Spaghettini. We have a double night.
Okay.
We were going to do 2 nights, but they are trying something. We're going to be there for 1 night with 2 shows in the same night. And I don't know, I don't want to get in any trouble or step on any toes, but personally, my feeling about that is that the room is known for people being able to come in and just have a relaxed evening. They order their dinner or whatever, and they have the whole show, for the whole night. They're in the room. Now, this thing with 2 shows is going to mean that people are going to have to come and go, and then another group of people come in. That's very uncomfortable. I don't. If I was someone who was going to patronize an establishment, that would put me off.
Well, now, and then for you as a vocalist, especially, how does that work for you? I mean, are you having to, sing? You're singing 2 shows back to back and playing the sax.
Right. Well, what we try to do is we try to space things out in a way that won't wreck me. So we were going to do 2 sets anyway. I guess we'll probably just have a variation of set 1, or maybe, I don't know how they're going to do it. That's a good question. Maybe Greg will let us know. Well, he usually does. He'll tell us what's happening way before the show, but because we have to still have a rehearsal and all that. But I would imagine it would be 2 different sets, but I could be wrong about that. He might do the same one twice, but who knows?
Okay. Well, and when is that one?
June the 6th, I believe. Let me check just to be sure. June 7th or 6th.
Is that a weekend?
Yes. I'm trying to get this calendar moving here. There we go. June, yeah, it's June 7th.
Saturday night?
Saturday night.
Woohoo! Okay. I see a traveling to Seal Beach in California. It's
Come
only
on.
5 hours.
Come on.
I am, because you know what? When you guys came to Denver, that was my first time seeing East Bay Soul, and I got to tell you, I danced the whole show. I had such a good time, and it was, you know what, for me, because I've always gone to shows there at that venue, but it seemed like you guys just lit up the place. East Bay Soul. I mean, you guys were crammed on that little stage with everybody on there.
A lot of people.
But you guys brought the house down, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was a great concert. Y'all brought the energy. You had wonderful energy, and it was great. And I know, being in the Mile High City, you had some. Did you have some like breathing moments there?
I had some difficulties. I pride myself on being in fairly good physical condition, but if you don't live a mile high and you suddenly travel
a mile high
that place, and you have to do something that requires exertion, such as playing a tenor saxophone or singing, where it requires deep breathing and holding your breath and holding notes and what have you, I was really surprised. I thought I was losing it. What's going on here? You know, the quality was there and the notes were there, but I was really working. And it didn't dawn on me why that was happening until Greg addressed the crowd for the first time and mentioned that we were in the Mile High City. I said, well, there you go, that we're above sea level. I live on the coast. I mean, literally on the coast.
Right.
I am in Del Mar. It's like I can just walk down the road and across the street. There is a beach. So I'm used to sea level.
Right. Exactly. And you come to our city. Well, you come to the Mile High City, and yes, and of course we get that a lot. You can imagine playing even higher at the jazz festivals there in the mountains.
Now, see, we would have to have a couple of days of acclimation.
Yes, definitely.
You wouldn't want to fly in and try to do a show there. You have to, prepare yourself a little bit first.
Yes, absolutely. So let me switch gears just a little bit, because for me, the color of jazz, it attracts a lot of indie artists, and I'm very proud of that, because there's so much great music out there, and so many great indie artists out there that this is a good forum for them. So on behalf of the indie artists, and doing where you are now, Daryl, just kind of reflect back, if you would, to maybe some wisdom points for someone as an indie artist trying to make it today in 2014 in the music industry.
Wow. It's interesting that you bring that up, because frankly, there is no real blueprint at this point. I mean, there never really was, because everyone who has done anything musically has had to find their own way to get there, and their own contacts and their own plan. But in today's environment, it's really challenging, because those big record contracts are very rare and not necessarily the best way to go. Being an independent artist carries a lot of risk with it, but at the same time, you have ultimate control over everything you do. You decide if you're going to tour and where. You decide what your budget is, and the creative control is yours as far as what kind of music you want to do, how you want to arrange it, and what you actually wish to record, and how you're going to place it on the project, and all that. All the things that usually the artist was kept out of in the past are now there for the artist to be in control of. And that's a good thing if you're the kind of artist that thinks more like a business person than just a creative person, because it allows you to set yourself up so that if you market yourself properly and you make the right moves and investments, you should be able to garner some kind of career out of all this. It's important. In my case, I had an EP that had 2 cover songs on it. It was important for me to license those songs before I recorded them, obviously. Some people don't think about that. You know, they just start recording things, and that's a good way to get into a lot of trouble. So doing a mechanical licensing of any cover tunes you might want to do is the first thing I would recommend before you actually record them and place them on a project for sale. It doesn't cost much to get licensing. It really doesn't. And it's worth it because it saves you a lot of hassle in the long run. You don't want to be in court fighting over whose property it is and that. Right. It winds up costing way more that way. But that would be my first thing, is to advise anyone that's starting out as an independent artist to, if you're going to record any cover songs, be sure to get your mechanical royalties in place. So that the person who wrote the songs or who owns the songs is properly compensated for whatever sales you might make. Then I would say just general planning, plan your project. Find the best producer and musicians that you can possibly get within your budget. Plan it well, decide what it is before you go into the studio, because time in the studio goes like this. If you don't plan your project before you walk into the studio, you will have spent all your money and have only one song, if that, finished. So in the studio is not where you want to write your songs, not where you want to conceptualize anything. You want to do all that outside of that environment and have it ready to go, so that when you get into the studio, it's just about tracking and organizing. Okay. And then once you do that, decide, how is your artwork going to look? Do you have your own logo, or get ready to go on to? I would recommend going to CD Baby and reading the literature they have about their products and services and how they can help the independent artists, because they've got a very long and wide reach. They can not only press and manufacture your product when you have it finished, but they can also help you promote it. They could get it out to electronic retailers such as iTunes, Amazon.com, all of those. There's a bunch of them now. There's more than I could even remember. They could get it out there for you electronically, which is my next step. I kind of held off on that. I was selling my CD on my website at first, but there are a lot of people who don't want the physical CD. They just want the files. So I'm going to make it available for download very soon, but I have to legally get some things in place before I do that, because I don't want to have anyone knocking on my door after the fact.
Absolutely. And, why do you think that is, Daryl? I mean, I know the downloads are, I know they're kind of easy and you can put them on your phone and things like that. I got to tell you, folks, I am so old school because I want a CD. Now, I know with Amazon, you can get the CD and the download. Will you do that as well?
I will do both, because personally, I'm one of those people that likes to have the physical CD as well. Because electronic downloads being what they are, by the time you, as an independent artist, by the time you pay the fees associated with having your music listed that way, unless you have a huge following, making money that way is not exactly easy to do. Because
electronically, MP3 wise?
Right.
Okay.
And it's not so much that as it is just, if anything happens to your computer and you lose all of your data, if you haven't backed things up properly, you'll have to buy it again. I mean, and I've been through that. I thought I had everything backed up on a cloud, and turns out that none of that stuff made it. And I wound up having to rebuild my entire music library. So I personally prefer having the physical CD. And another reason is because you'd like to know who recorded the stuff, who are the musicians,
exactly,
who were the technical people. what notes from the authors or the composers are there? What do they have to say about the project? Who are they thanking? What about the photos? What about all these interesting parts that we all had as LPs and
That's right.
45s and cassettes and all these different media formats afforded us? If you just do the download thing, now you may get a picture of the album cover as part of the download, but you don't get any of the good stuff, like who's on the song, who actually performed the tracks.
Exactly.
I like to know that stuff.
That's right. And that's the thing that I look for when I get the CD. First thing I do when I open up the CD is while I'm listening to it, I look to see who you're thanking. I want to know, about who are the musicians in there, because I like to play the game where I'm like, okay, I know that sax, I know that guitar, so I'm always looking to see who's the artist on the CD with you, because the CD is not just about you. It's about your supporting musicians who are there with you as well.
It is.
Help put this together.
It is. It's always a team effort. There are some people who can, who are skilled enough to conceptualize, record, and manufacture their own project from start to finish. But again, it's like I said, without including other people, you tend to have a myopic view of things, and sometimes that works. But for me, I like to hear a project that has different flavors that have all been, brought together and give the thing a better sound than it could have from just one perspective. I like that. The collective, collaborative thing is where I come from. When I write or when I perform, I do my best work in a collaboration, because I don't like being stuck in my own head. And that comes partly from being a management person in aerospace and having to get people to work together to a common goal and to meet objectives. I just work that way. So to do it all alone, I don't think I would have ever finished it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I like to think no man's an island, no woman's an island. And which is why we have so many people on this earth, is for us to come together and work together. And
I'm telling you right now, I couldn't have the product I have without the people that I enlisted. And my good friend Kevin Flournoy, the keyboard player I'm telling you about, that produced the CD and did a lot of the arrangements. And in fact, one of the songs is his, the one entitled See You Through It All.
Yes.
That song originally was written for Kenny Loggins. And he was pitching it for Kenny Loggins. And they were taking a while to get back to him. I said, "Hey man, we're in the middle of this recording. I need that song," because I sang the studio track. I sang it as a demo, and we both looked at each other when we finished it. And he said, "That's a hit." I said, "I know it is." I said, "You're about to give it to somebody else." I said,
right?
"I want that." So after a little bit of I won't say begging, but impassioned pleading.
There you go. I love that. Impassioned pleading, folks.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
He said, "You know what? Okay, man, because this is just, we have to put this on your thing because you just own this." And then I said, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate it." But that's just an example of what we did together. The other stuff, I mean, as you play, I guess I could go down the list of whatever you want to talk about title-wise and tell you how those songs came about.
Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's put on See You Through It All, because that's another great song on there. And then, of course, I want to say, before I put that on, I need to say hello to Carolyn Spence. Hi, Carolyn. How are you?
Absolutely.
All right. So let's put this one on. See You Through It All. Enjoy this, folks, and get back in to the chat with us. And also, I'm heading over to Facebook for a quick check-in, and I'm going to post on Daryl's wall as well. So enjoy this, and then I'll see you guys in the chat.
I'd love you. Maybe I could have played a better part and made it plain to see just what we'd go through. Yes, I would do it all again. Throw my cautions to the wind for your love, just to keep the fire burning. Hoping this time will never end. Rest assured, if you ever fall, I will be there for you. I will see you through it all. I look into your eyes and dare see what's in your heart. The things you hope for. Can we ever know our destiny? Will our fate be love? Or could there be more? Yes, I would do it all again. Throw my cautions to the wind for your love, just to keep the fire burning. Hoping this time will never end. Rest assured, if you ever fall, I will be there for you. I will see you through it all. And we'll go all the way, straight to the stars. And then come what may, this love will be ours. Just our love, all our love. Yes, I would do it all again. Throw my cautions to the wind for your love, just to keep the fire burning. Hoping this time will never end. Rest assured, if you ever fall, I will be there for you. I will see you through it all. See you through it all. See you through it all. See you through it all.
Nice. Okay, you know what? I did the hashtag impassioned pleading. That's gonna be a new trend, folks. You heard it from Daryl Walker. Hashtag. Get your hashtag on, folks. So, of course, that one belongs to Daryl Walker when you see the hashtag impassioned pleading. So make sure you give him credit on that and get his CD. And I'm going to tell you, go get the CD so you can read everything about Daryl in the CD and everything that his heart and soul. That's what a CD is to me. Daryl, it's your heart, it's your soul that you share with the world. And which is why I love music, because I feel like I get a piece of Daryl Walker without knowing Daryl Walker. I get to know a little bit about you, and I get to hear your passions and feel your passions through your music. So definitely, folks, check this out. The CD is Hold Me. Best place to get this, Daryl?
At Daryl, DARRYL, F as in Fitzgerald, Walker.com, DarylFWalker.com. There is a store page on the website, and you can go there and pick it up there. I get the notification, and I get it to you right away.
Yes, 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 yes. And of course, Blondie is saying applause, applause, applause. Hi, Blondie Pie. I don't know who Blondie Pie is, but hello. Big hello to you, and thank you for joining us in the chat. And thanks for being here. I'm going to assume that this is your first time on The Color of Jazz. So thank you, and thanks, and I hope to see you guys again. Carolyn is saying he always puts his heart and soul in his music endeavors.
That's true. Well, you know, there are different reasons why people become musicians. I don't purport to know them all, but I will say this. For me, it was something that allowed me as a younger person to escape a lot of the pitfalls of being a teenager and growing up in an area where it was a very integrated area, but being a person who is looked at as being mixed or of whatever you want to call it, differing backgrounds, it wasn't easy a lot of times, and I just would rather put my time and energy into something constructive. So that's where music came in for me.
Nice.
According to my mom, you know, who died in 2006, she said I was singing at the age of 2 before I could form sentences or speak appropriately or properly. She said, you were singing before you did anything.
Nice.
And I said, well, what was I singing? And she said, you were singing jazz. And I said, no, I wasn't. She said, yes, you were. She said, you sang that song, Alfie.
Wow.
When it came out, she said, you were singing that song. And I said, really? And
okay.
I tell that story and people don't believe it. I said, yeah, my mom told me. You know, it's a song that goes, what's it all about, Alfie? It starts out like that. And I said, you're kidding me. That's a hard song to sing. She said, well, you did it. And
and that too.
Oh, unreal.
You know what, Daryl, you were absolutely amazing, because I was going to ask for, and you gave it to us right then and there. You sang for us, and thank you. That was so amazing. I know all the women in there are like, oh, yes, that's that silky, sexy, soulful voice. Hashtag, folks. Remember, that's Daryl Walker, and he's.
Thank you so much. I get a lot of joy out of connecting with people like that. You know, this adds to my point. This is the reason why I do music, because it's a way to make a soul connection with people that you couldn't otherwise have made, especially if you're in a room full of strangers. You most definitely are not going to connect with everyone if they don't hear you do something like that. And I've even found with performing an instrumental kind of song, you connect in a way with that. But what really gets people is when you vocalize and you sing from your heart.
Yes.
It just connects with them, because it's where an artist bears their entire soul. If you're doing it right, if you're doing it well, you bare your soul. It's a very vulnerable place to come from as an artist, because they'll either like it or they won't.
Right.
But
you put it out there because it's from you.
You just do, and the connection that you make with people in doing that, it's amazing, because there's no other way to. I don't think there's any other way to do that unless you're performing as an actor and you're doing some really dramatic thing, some love scene or whatever. But through music, it seems it's immediate, because they're either going to like it or not, and you'll know right away.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know we've got some musicians in the house, and I think Scott's a musician as well. So I know he is feeling everything that you're saying. And of course, Griselda and I, we both got the goosebumps. Yes, and that is so true. And that's what music is. It gives you all of those emotions. And for me, and the reason why I really like jazz is because I get to hear the emotions through your sax playing. When you hit that note, and whether it's high or low, but you hit it and it's just nice and deep. That's the music that I listen for. And then you come in with your vocals, your sound, and it's just like another instrument, and it is another instrument, and
It
it's
really
just
is.
so deep.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm sure I speak for other artists when I say that that's what we aim to achieve. When you're out there, you don't always know how people are going to receive you. Even if it's people that are loyal to you and they're part of your following, you never know how they're going to receive a new song or, a tune that you may have done before. They might not like it the second time, or they may like it even more. One of the most humbling moments I ever experienced as a musician was at a recent performance where East Bay Soul was at Laguna Festival of the Arts in Laguna, California, and we had just come off stage, and this lady approached me and she was in tears, just completely sobbing. Her face was red and bloodshot, and she walked up to me and she said, "You saved my marriage." And I said, "What?" And she said, "You did?" I said, "No, I'm afraid I didn't do that." I said, "What is this all about?" And she goes, "Can I give you a hug?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So I gave her a hug. She told me, she said, "My husband and I, for years, were at odds with each other. And then we were going to split up until we heard you sing." And it was a song that Greg wrote years ago called "Someone New." And probably one of my favorite ballads. I mean, even more than a favorite than any of the others I've heard for quite a while. Anyway, I said, "Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that." I said, "But let me just say something. Let's get something clear. You may have had difficulty, but you and your husband saved your marriage. If I facilitated that in any way by performing this song with passion and sincerity and grace and skill and all that, then great. I will take credit for that. But you saved your own marriage." And it was a really nice exchange because I never had a person approach me and say anything like that. And to think that music is so powerful that it could take two people who are at swords points and make them drop that and think this is worth saving because they felt an emotional connection through a performance. That's amazing. To me, there's no better endorsement than that. You couldn't hope for more than that. And it was such a humbling thing because it made me think, wow, I used to think that music made people happy and that kind of thing, but to think that it made them forget this idea of divorce and splitting up. And I said, wow, that's something else. I said, well, then I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm in the right place and I'm doing it the way I should be. And I thanked her in return. I said, "No, thank you. Thank you very much."
Very nice. Can you sing a little bit of that for us?
Sure. It starts off, "Come here, baby. I've got something to say to you. I feel lost and scared. I feel I'm losing you. I can't help thinking of the years we shared together. Now we stand face to face. Is this the end? Am I losing you to someone new?" And it goes on. But if you want to hear the whole track, I have that on my website. You can see that as a video. In fact, it was from that same day. the video was recorded that same day, and it's a great performance. The band sounds great. The sound was great. So check that out. Go to darylfwalker.com and check out on the video page. Check out the Someone New. You'll hear it.
Someone New. Nice. Okay, well, we will definitely be checking that out and looking for that, folks. Again, Daryl, one more time for your website. So I need to put that in the chat in Facebook as well.
It's DARRYLF Walker, WALKER.com. You'll see the music page, the video page, the store, the news page, the calendar. I built it in a way that would make it as user-friendly as possible. So it's something where you can go and get exactly what you're looking for. If you want news, you'll see what I'm doing. If you want calendar that shows the performances, you can have that. If you want to hear some music, you can do that. If you want to go to the store and buy something, you can do that. If you want to, I mean, it's all there for you.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And then, Daryl, let me ask you, so for the music, would you mind if I played on my website your songs just for a couple days so that people can come and listen? And then, of course, I will send them back to you to go get the CD.
Go for it. Do it as long as you want.
Okay. Thank you. I so appreciate that. And you know what? And while we're kind of talking about permission here, because I know with artists and things like that, with the internet, let me ask you just a quick question. I know I need to wind down here with you, but I'm so excited having you on my show because.
Thank you.
Well, you know, you're silky, sexy, and soulful. So I'm, you know, hashtag folks. I'm setting a trend here. Work with me. So with that permission, how do you feel about people at a live event? How do you feel about them like recording your music and then posting like to YouTube or something like that, or even on their Facebook page? What are your thoughts on that as an artist?
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword, and I say that only because a lot of the time people are recording with devices that don't have the ability to really represent what's being done, and the quality of what they're doing is low and distorted, and it doesn't really represent what's really going on. And it could be, I don't know, it could be detrimental. But at the same time, you don't want to shut people down because they're excited and they're trying to get involved and they're being generous and taking the time to post things. That part I appreciate. I just wish that some of the quality of the stuff that they're recording and capturing was commensurate to what's on the CD and what's being done live, so that a true representation of the quality of the project is being put out there. But you can't control all of that. So, I mean, personally, I'm not going to say no video and no photos at any of my performances. The only thing I will say is no flash, please, because, you know, being disoriented by a bright flash of light, it can mess you up, especially if you're on a crowded stage and you're trying to walk. Yeah, you don't want to trip over things or whatever. But
that's right.
I have to say, most of the video content on my website was done by people who use their own, like an iPhone or whatever.
Okay.
And for the most part, it does sound pretty good. But there were some that I didn't use because it was just so distorted and just didn't make any sense. It wouldn't represent me in a good light, so I just left that off. But the ones that are there are pretty good. And the one Someone New, that was recorded by Jack and Mikey Cohen. They have their own website, and they're out there all the time doing all kinds of stuff. People, Smooth Jazz Live is their thing. That's what they call it. And they're out there supporting the artists and capturing things and posting and being sort of a conduit to people. And it's like a collective, cooperative kind of thing that goes on. It's great.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to wind down the show because I said I was going to keep it to an hour. And of course, you've got family and to get back to. But I'm going to say just a huge, huge, huge thank you. Daryl, you are my first person back on my show. So thank you. I know. Okay, Daryl, high five. High five. So I have to say I am honored to have you on my show, and especially being gone and coming back, starting fresh and on a new platform with everything is new. My location, my new studio, my new hairstyle. Everything.
Yeah, you're rocking it too. You're rocking it. You're making it happen.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making it happen. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's a nice way to get the word out into people. You know, they want to know what's going on with people. They hear music and they, oh, I wonder what that person's like and what they're about and what they're into, and you know, it's a nice way to introduce people to the world, and I appreciate you for that.
Well, you know what? It's a nice way to introduce you all over the world, you know, because we get folks from Russia and Australia and different places of the world tuning in. And the beauty of this, of course, it is recorded, and I'll clean up the front part of this, and we will have this interview. We'll make that available to everyone. So it will be on my page on loop, so you can, if you guys missed the show, of course, you can come back, come to the colorofjazz.com and listen and watch the show as well. So
that's awesome.
Do that. All right, Daryl. Again, I'm going to say goodnight to you, and as you say goodnight to folks, I'm going to play my favorite, which is title track, folks, Hold Me. Everyone in the chat, say your goodbyes to Daryl, and then Daryl, you can fade out as you want. I'm going to play Hold Me and chat with folks for a little bit before I sign off as well.
Thank you so much. Enjoy this track, Hold Me. This is a song I wrote a while ago and finally had the opportunity to record it. And I sang all the backgrounds and the leads, and I had help with Rebecca Jade, a good friend of mine, did a voice on top, but it's really nice and thick and lush, and I hope you really enjoy it.
Very lush. Hey, now is this the lady that will be with you in Spaghettinis?
It is.
Okay, folks. Big, huge plug for Rebecca. Rebecca, what's her last name?
Jade, Jade.
Okay, Rebecca Jade on here with Daryl on Hold Me. Like this is my favorite. I want everyone to go to Daryl's website and to get the CD from him. And I'm going to say it again. I want you guys to get the CD from Daryl. It's very important. Don't get me wrong. Love iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby, all that. But when you are at his performance at Spaghettinis or wherever he is playing, you need to get the CD directly from him so you can sign it and get a sign, number one. But that's the best way to support the artist. One of the best ways. You go see the show and you buy a CD.
There it is.
There it is, right?
That's it.
Come on, y'all. It's not rocket science. All right, here we go, folks. Hold Me.
Good night.
Enjoy this. Thanks, Daryl.
It's been so long since I held you, baby, and here you are, I'm yearning for you now. I ache to touch you, and it's no surprise. I see you smile when you look into my eyes. Hold me, touch me, touch me. Love me, hold me, hold me, touch me, thrill me, show me. As we kiss, our hearts begin to race. Loving you is all I want to do.
say thank you to everyone in joining me back on The Color of Jazz. We are here every Sunday night, and stay tuned because in April I've got some exciting guests coming up, including Harvey Mason from Foreplay. He's got a new CD out. He will be joining us April 27th. Ken Navarro will also be joining us. They all have new music. Richard Smith has some new music. Maybe I can get him on the show as well. Lots of things coming up. We're back, folks. Color of Jazz is back, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you. Join me next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will see you next Sunday. Ciao.